There's not going to be any more media downstairs at this point forward. Do we want to be more direct in what they've been exposed to or not? There's arguments on both sides, so I just wanted to raise that question with the court.
I mean, I could ask them whether or not they have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse?
Well, at this point, I don't think we should limit it. I think we should just say.
Well, there's no information to suggest that they have been exposed to information from any other place, and we've been specifically talking about a potential exposure here at the courthouse. So I think it makes sense to actually talk about whether or not they've seen anything here at the courthouse. Outside this courtroom, because obviously there's media coverage within the courtroom.
Right, that was my only, I guess, clarification, is certainly I don't want them to confuse the question with the media that is present within the courtroom itself.
Okay. So I'm suggesting using what has been presented to me. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories. All right, so I would like the bailiff to inform the jury that we are going to bring them in individually to ask them some questions so that they know that that is what's going to be happening. And then, of course, once I'm done with questioning, I will advise the juror who's in here not to discuss it. All right, thank you.
Stand for them individually, or do this like we did with individual questioning, will we stay seated?
I think we'll stay seated.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor.
Number one. Jury number 1, we are bringing in each juror to ask everyone the same question, okay?
Okay.
Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or the courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you. I'll have the bailiff take you back to the jury room. Thank
John,
you.
were you going to put on to not?
Oh, I'm sorry, yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, I apologize. Please don't discuss with anyone else the question that I asked you.
Oh, of course.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Jury number 2, we are bringing in each juror to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or the courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
Maybe.
All right, can you tell me what you mean by maybe?
We've been watching the national news because I feel like that's fair game. And I was washing the dishes and I switched over to I wasn't really paying attention, switched over to local news. All I heard was the most basic description of the trial. And then I switched it. So maybe 3 seconds. But I didn't hear it on the local.
Your Honor, the interpreters cannot hear the juror.
Sorry.
Okay. I'm just going to read back what you said. We've been watching the national news because I feel like that's fair game. And I was washing the dishes and it switched over to I wasn't really paying attention. All I heard was the most basic description of the trial, and then I switched it, so maybe 3 seconds, but I did hear it on the news. Is that correct? Just have to verbally respond.
Yes. Sorry. I should know that, Mike.
As you sit here knowing that you heard 3 seconds of some sort of report, and that was at your home? Okay. Are you able to separate out whatever it is that you might have heard as it relates to ultimately deciding this case based only on the facts presented during the trial and evidence presented during the trial, and then my instruction on the law?
Absolutely.
All right. Ms. Stone, do you have any questions?
Has this impacted your ability to be fair and impartial in this case in any way?
No.
Thank you. No, Your Honor.
Mr. Kading?
No, no.
Mr. Leary?
No.
All right. We'll have you go back to the jury room. Thank you.
Your Honor.
Gosh, I apologize. I do have it written down. Jury number 2, you are not to discuss what we've been talking about here in this courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. You understand?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Your Honor, wait, I do have a question, I guess.
Okay,
How did you know it was about this case?
It was, I really wasn't paying attention, but it was something like the jury in the trial in Thurston County of the couple that's pretty much all I heard. And then I switched the channel. I was headed toward the clicker when it came on, because I knew we were on the local news as opposed to national news.
Okay, thank you.
all right. Thank you. Ms. Stone, anything as it relates to number 2?
No, Your Honor, he indicated he was fair and impartial. It has not impacted, and based on what he relayed, it doesn't appear to be anything different than the facts that he has heard in this case.
Mr. Katie?
No, Your Honor.
Just a moment. Not yet, not yet. No,
No,
nothing?
no, Your Honor.
Thank you, okay. Juror number 3, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or the courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories. I am ordering you not to discuss that question or anything else that we've been talking about since we brought you in with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Okay? Thank you. Juror number 4, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
The only exposure I've had is, like a clip came on the TV, and as soon as I saw that it was one of our witnesses, I turned it off, so I did not.
All right, and was that at your home?
Yeah.
All right, and when was that?
Oh gosh, it was last week, like, right Tuesday. That's when I realized that, oh crap, like, I shouldn't be watching this while this is going on.
All right, and about how long do you think it was on for?
Oh, like 2 seconds.
And how did you know that it was related to this trial?
I recognized one of the witnesses.
And who was it?
Okay, I might have been wrong about Tuesday, but it was Fatima.
Okay.
So the day after she testified.
And did you hear any commentary or anything that, any clip with her where she was speaking?
No.
All right. Do you believe that despite having seen this, you described about 2 seconds of news coverage related to this case, that you can put out of your mind whatever it is that you saw and still decide this case based only on the evidence presented during the trial and the instruction on the law?
Yes.
And do you believe that you can still be fair and impartial to all sides?
Yes.
Ms. Stone, any questions?
Nothing additional, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Kading?
Nothing additional, thank you.
Mr. Leary?
Just one quick thing.
Yeah.
So any graphics with the clip or anything else other than just that you saw with potentially Fatima?
I did not see any other graphics.
Okay. Thank you.
I instruct you that you are not to discuss what we have been talking about here with anyone else, including any of your fellow jurors, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you shut the door, please? Ms. Stone, any issues with number 4?
No, based on the record you made, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
Mr. Leary?
No, Your Honor.
All right. You can bring in 5. Juror number 5, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories. I am instructing you that you are not to discuss that question or anything else associated with you coming here in the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Thank you. Bring in number 6. Juror number 6, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or the courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories. No? Okay. I am instructing you not to discuss this question or anything that's happened here since you've come into the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand? Thank you. Juror number 7, we are bringing the jurors in individually to ask them all the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
No, ma'am.
I am instructing you not to discuss that question or anything that's happening here in the courtroom while I'm asking you these questions with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Go ahead and have a seat. Juror number 8, we're bringing in each juror individually to ask them all the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
I have not seen
All right. I am instructing you not to discuss the question I just asked you or anything about coming here into the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand? Thank you. Juror number 9, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
No.
Juror number 9, I am instructing you not to discuss the question that I asked you or anything about coming into the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. And do you understand?
I do.
Thank you. number 10, we are bringing each juror in individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
No.
I'm instructing you not to discuss the question I just asked you or anything about coming into the courtroom now with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. And do you understand?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Jury number 11, we are having each juror come in individually so that we can ask each of you the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
No, Your Honor.
All right. I am instructing you not to discuss the question that I've asked or anything about coming into the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. Jury number 12, we are bringing each juror in individually to ask the same question.
Okay.
Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within this courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
There was one day coming in last week where the security guard had an image up behind his desk of one of the witnesses sitting in the stands. But I got one quick look and looked away. Didn't see a headline or anything like that.
Did you recognize the image of the witness?
Yes.
Who was it?
It was Isaiah's father. I forget his name. Victor?
Do you recall what day that was?
I don't.
About how long do you think that you saw that image?
Enough to register his face, so a second or two.
Was there anything else on the screen that you saw besides the image of Isaiah's father?
Not that I saw. It was enough to recognize where it was, and that there might have been people next to him, but not enough to see anything.
So it was not while he was testifying, it was a gallery shot?
Correct.
Was it a still photo or was it something that appeared to you to be moving?
It was still.
And so then, other than seeing Isaiah, recognizing Isaiah's dad in a still shot with potentially having some people around him, was there anything else that you recall from the image?
No.
Was there any audio that was going on? Was there anyone else that you recognized in the shot besides Isaiah's dad? Ultimately, the job of a juror is to decide the case only on the evidence presented during the trial here in the courtroom, but during the trial and the court's instruction on the law. Do you believe that you can put out of your mind that image that you saw of Isaiah's dad sitting in the gallery, potentially with some other people, and decide the case based only on the evidence presented during the trial? And do you believe that you can still be fair and impartial to all sides? Ms. Stone, do you have any questions?
I don't have any additional, thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Mr. Larry?
There, thank you.
Juror number 12, I'm instructing you not to discuss the question I asked or your responses or anything associated with coming into the courtroom now with anyone, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand? Thank you. We're going to have the door closed for a moment. Ms. Stone, anything as it relates to juror number 12?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Keating?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry?
Just makes me appreciative that we're doing this, Sean. Thank you.
Thank you. Go ahead and bring, well, before we bring in the next person, for the clerk, although this person is now our number 1 alternate, they are still alternate number 2? Okay, bring in alternate number 2, please. Alternate juror number 2, we are bringing in all of the jurors to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories.
I went on Facebook like several days after, and I saw Como's news, but I just looked at it and of course, basically I didn't go and read it, I just saw it.
I need you to speak up just a little bit.
I saw the news, but I didn't read it. I looked at the picture, and I recognized, and I turned off.
Who was in the picture?
The 2 defendants.
And were there any captions?
I only looked at pictures. I recognized the picture, and then I knew this is, I don't know why I went on Facebook, so.
Did you go onto Facebook to look for information related to this case?
No, it's like a daily thing I do, read my stuff, but not looking for
How was it that this information from Como News came up on
I
Facebook?
follow most of the news stations around here, Cairo, Como's, Fox, CNN. I just scroll through the news just to watch the news, and I happened to scroll and saw the picture, and I immediately just turned it off. So there's no information I got from there. Basically, just the pictures.
Did you click on, well, can you click, as you scroll through, if there's something you want to look at, can you click into it and see more detail?
It's the news article. Any of those is the link basically.
Okay. Did you click on the link?
No.
After you saw the Como News information on Facebook, where you saw the pictures of Mr. and Mrs. Ali, have you gone back to Facebook since that time?
I don't go to that station. I went back on Facebook, but I don't see anything else.
But doesn't the news feed come up on your Facebook page every day?
Sure, but that's the only one that I saw.
Ultimately, the job of the jury will be to decide this case based only on evidence presented during the trial. Do you believe that you can exclude from your mind or consideration the photograph that you saw of Mr. and Mrs. Ali from any consideration in this case?
Okay.
And do you believe that you can still be fair and impartial?
Yes, I can.
And if I instruct you so, will you abide by not going back on Facebook between now and the ultimate conclusion and discharge of the jury?
Yes, I will.
All right. Ms. Stone, do you have any questions?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Leary?
No, Your Honor, thank you.
So right now, I will instruct you that you are not to discuss the question that I asked you or anything that's happened in the courtroom since you've come in. You may not discuss that with anyone, including your fellow jurors. Do you understand that?
Yes.
And unless and until you are discharged from this case, I am ordering you not to be looking on social media at all and to ensure that you are not exposed to outside information, and you're willing to abide by that?
Yes.
Thank you. Ms. Stone?
Nothing additional, Your Honor, based on the court's questions and instruction.
Mr. Kading?
Nothing further.
Mr. Larry?
Nothing additional, thank you.
All right, thank you. Alternate juror number 3, we are bringing in each juror individually to ask them the same question. Since the beginning of this trial, have you been exposed to any media coverage associated with this trial here at the courthouse or courthouse complex, apart from what you have received within the courtroom? Media includes still shots, news articles, social media posts, and/or news stories. Thank you. And, sorry, go ahead and have a seat. I am instructing you not to discuss the question I asked or anything that's happened since you came into the courtroom with anyone else, including your fellow jurors.
Okay.
Thank you. Anything further before we bring the jury in? Ms. Stone?
Nothing additional, Your Honor.
Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry? All right.
No, apologies, Your Honor. I believe that there is, Ms. Doe wants to put something on the record as to agreement about the parameters of Dr. Gilbert's testimony, and it might make sense to do that now if the court's willing to do that.
How long is Officer Bell's testimony going to be?
I think it's less than an hour.
Okay, well, we'll probably take a recess, but go ahead.
Okay.
Your Honor, I just want to let the court know that I spoke with Mr. Leary and also Mr. Kading with regards to Dr. Gilbert's testimony. The concern was that whether her testimony would in essence open the door to some of Miss Ali's previous history, and I think the parameters we've worked out, and defense can correct me if I'm wrong, but in essence, the state will be asking Dr. Gilbert to testify about her training and experience and the effects on the body with strangulation in general, and then to ask her questions specifically about the rebus, and then also the photos of the injuries, and that the state is not going to ask her to give any opinion or opine in any way about what injuries Miss Ali could have in the future as related due to this specific incident, so not to open the door.
All right, and when you're referring to Miss Ali, you're talking about Fatima Ali?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Mr. Kading?
Yes, Your Honor, that sounds what we discussed.
All right, Mr. Leary?
In agreement.
All right, and Dr. Gilbert has been so advised?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. Bring in the jury. Go ahead and have the officer come into the courtroom.
Thank you.
Please be seated. Members of the jury, we're now going to continue with the presentation of evidence. Ms. Stone, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today we call Officer Bell.
Officer Bell, come forward, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be true and correct?
I do.
Please be seated. Ms. Stone, you may inquire.
Thank you. Good afternoon, officer.
Good afternoon.
Can you please state your name and spell your last name for the record?
Sean Bell, B-E-L-L.
Officer Bell, are you employed?
I am.
How so, sir?
I'm a police officer with the city of Lacey.
And how long have you been employed in law enforcement?
In law enforcement, 23 years.
Is all of that with the city of Lacey?
It is.
Can you describe your training and experience with law enforcement, please?
In 2002, I was hired as a community service officer. My primary responsibilities was the transportation of offenders from the field to correctional facilities or correctional facilities back for judicial processes. Shortly after being hired in 2002, I was also hired as a reserve police officer. In 2003, I attended the Thurston County Reserve Police Officer Academy and was certified as a reserve officer. Through that time, I carried both commissions as a CSO, community service officer, and a reserve officer. So I was paid as a CSO, but I was a volunteer police officer. In the summer of 2004, I was hired as a provisional police officer and I was assigned to the patrol division, and I worked there through the beginning of 2005. In 2005, I was hired as a commissioned police officer and would attend the Criminal Justice Training Center and obtain my basic law enforcement credentials. Returning from the academy, I went through a field training process, and after successful completion, I've been a police officer ever since.
And as a police officer, what are your current duties?
Currently, I'm assigned to the patrol division. Primary responsibilities handling calls for service via 911. Those include anything that really can come up, to include really you could think of anything and we get it. It also includes traffic enforcement as well as being a visual deterrent for criminal acts.
And so were you employed by Lacey Police Department in October of 2024?
I was.
And were you working on October 18th, 2024 at approximately 2:14 p.m.?
I was.
And were you working with anyone at that time or working by yourself?
At that time, I was a field training officer, and my student officer was Officer Chavez.
In what phase was Officer Chavez in at that time?
Phase 3.
Is that the field training officer program you previously testified about? Or previously referenced?
Yes.
Okay. Are you the field training officer for Officer Chavez at that time?
At that time, yes.
Did you become aware of an investigation occurring at Timberline High School located at 6120 Mullen Road Southeast in Lacey, Washington on that day at about that time?
Yes.
Okay. Did you go to that location?
Yes.
Do you recall about what time you arrived at that location?
I believe we arrived at 2:20 p.m.
And what did you observe when you arrived?
Once I arrived on scene, there was a person that was detained in handcuffs that was on their stomach. Officer Hang was with that person. And then there were students, would be to the right near the inner city transit sign.
And when you say person detained, was that a child, an adult, or something else?
An adult male.
And you described Officer Hang as being present. Were there any other adults present at that scene?
There was a male that was, I believe, kneeling down next to the detained person, white male with a beard, is what I remember.
Okay. And was that individual an officer or a civilian?
Civilian.
And you described there also being other individuals. I don't remember if you said kids or students present, but where were they present, about how many?
They were to my right. There was a handful.
Okay. When you say to your right as you're facing the location of Officer Hang?
Correct.
Okay. Was there a landmark or feature near the location Officer Hang was present at?
Not that I remember.
Okay. Is there a bus stop in that area?
Yes, the
Okay.
intercity transit sign.
Okay. And where was Officer Hang and the civilian male and the other male that was on his stomach on the ground? Where were they in location to that bus stop?
If where I was I was in the middle of the street, Mullen. If you look to my left, that's where they were. To the right would be where the IT bus stop sign or bus sign.
Okay. And did you, during the course of your time on scene, did you have any opportunity to observe the male who was down on the ground at some point be relocated from that location? Meaning, throughout the time you were there, did the male stay on his stomach on the ground?
No, he was moved.
Okay. Where did he go to?
I believe Officer Hang took him to a patrol car.
Okay. At any point, did you have an observation or an opportunity to observe him speaking with anyone? If you recall.
Not that I recall.
Okay. And what did you do upon arrival?
Initially, I checked in with Officer Hang. Want to make sure I just needed to know what he needed from us. And that's when things started getting delegated.
Okay. And so you said Officer Chavez was with you, is that correct?
That is.
Did you take statements from anyone at the scene, or did someone else do that?
I did not. Officer Chavez did.
Okay. What did you do next?
About this time is when somebody was beginning to enter the scene.
And what do you mean by that, enter the scene?
With where we were, things were right there off of Mullen. There was a woman that was walking in from the parking lot of the Timberline High School.
And how did that woman appear to you?
She appeared to be upset.
Okay, how was she dressed in appearance?
It was either a dark colored, like a green or an olive drab. I can't think of the term off the top of my head, but the head covering.
Okay.
And then she had a black style gown or dress.
And you said she was walking in from the parking lot. The parking lot for what?
Timberline High School.
Okay. And what is in the direction behind where she was coming from?
From the direction she was coming from would be the main hub of Timberline. So that would be near the basketball, the swimming pool, the administrative office, and then kind of the front of the school would be the parking lot that we were at.
Okay. And you indicated she was upset. Did she make contact with you?
Yes.
Okay. And can you describe that contact, please?
So initially, I was trying to get her to wait where she was, and ultimately I had to stop her from entering and going past me, and then she was yelling.
Okay. Do you recall what she was yelling?
Initially, she was saying things to the effect of my husband or something to the effect of this is my husband.
Okay. And you said initially, was there something else she was yelling, or that you can recall? Did she say that once, more than once, or something else?
It was pretty much those two things, and it was said more than once.
How would you describe her demeanor while she was making these statements?
She was upset.
And do you recall during your contact with Mom if she ever said or acknowledged anything about someone named Isaiah?
Yes.
Okay. And did you recall during your contact, with that female, if she ever said or indicated anything about to you that indicated where Isaiah went to school?
She made a motion pointing to the front of the school.
Okay.
Of mind or changing her mind or something to that effect.
And when you say changing her mind or changing of her mind, was she referring to herself or something else based on your interaction with her?
I believe she was referring to somebody else.
You said at one point you had to intervene to prohibit her from coming into the area where things were occurring. Is that correct?
Yes.
During the course of your interaction with this female, well, let me ask you a different question. I apologize. Was she an adult female or younger female or something else?
The particular one I'm speaking of is an adult female.
Is there another female that you are distinguishing her from?
Yes.
Who are you distinguishing her from?
There was a younger female as well.
Okay, and how are you, how did that other female present to you in terms of physical appearance?
Younger.
What was she wearing?
I believe she had a blue something, a blue shirt or a blue, there was something blue.
Okay. Did she have any head covering as you described the older female, if you remember?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Okay. And so did those two females appear to be connected to each other in any way?
Yes.
Did they appear to communicate with each other?
Yes.
Okay. And during the course of your interaction with the older female, how often or did you ever have to repeat any of your directives or instructions to her?
I did.
And can you describe what that looks like, please? How did that go?
I had to provide more than once to not enter where now the person had been taken to.
Okay, and when you say the person, who are you referring to?
The adult male that had been detained.
Okay. How would you describe the older female's compliance with those directions?
It appeared as if she was working left to right to find a path or a way to get past. And at that point, I had a second officer with me as well. That's what I was kind of observing.
And Officer Bell, did you write a report about these events?
I did not.
How did you prepare for today then?
I reviewed my body-worn camera.
Okay. Officer Bell, you described having a body-worn camera. Where do you hold that body-worn camera? How was that attached to you?
So at the City of Lacey, we're using external vests, at least most of us are, and those with external vests have straps that are referred to as molly, and so mine is specifically weaved through that fabric, and then the camera goes on, and there's a locking mechanism that when you put it on and rotate it, so give or take, it's right about here on my right rib. It's about where it's at.
And the witness used his hands to describe physically his verbal testimony.
Thank you. It's okay. And you pointed to your right rib. How does that body camera work? Meaning, is that something that you manually turn on and off? Is it something that records 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, something else? What does that look like?
So there's a couple different ways that it works. The simplest and like the way that normally an officer would activate it is a double click of a large circular button on the front. And as soon as you double click that, that'll activate it. But for this particular event, our cameras were on. And so when we activated our lights for the code run to get to the school, the camera began running as soon as we activated our lights. And so Officer Chavez was driving. And again, once those lights were activated, there's a few other pieces of equipment that we own that also could activate it as well electronically. But this particular event, it was activated when the lights were on.
And when your camera records those events, where are those events stored?
So the company that we use is Ihsan. The simplest way I can explain it is the cloud. We plug them in and then they upload through the data center or however that works, but it's going to be above me. But that's where it goes, is the company is Ihsan.
And if you have to download that camera footage for some reason, do you have the ability to edit it in the sense of removing people, adding people in, doing anything with that?
Not to my knowledge.
Okay. If you do, would you be capable of doing that?
No.
And you indicated prior to today, you reviewed your body-worn camera in preparation for testimony, is that correct?
I did.
And based on your review of that body-worn camera and your recollection, that appeared to be a true and accurate reflection of those events as they occurred.
Yes.
Prior to coming in today to this courtroom, did you have an opportunity to review a copy of that body-worn camera?
Yes.
And well, how long was that incident? How long were you on scene for?
I think the recording for me was 52 minutes and something. So for my cam, I know we left right after that.
Okay, and for part of that 52 minutes, does that include sitting in your vehicle, talking to other officers, other non-investigatory events, for lack of a better word?
Yes.
Okay. And prior to coming into court today, did you have an opportunity to review portions of that body cam video specifically as it relates to your testimony today?
Yes.
Did that video appear to be true and accurate based on your review?
Yes.
Bless you.
May I approach on
You may.
Officer Bell, I'm handing you what's been marked as States Exhibits 97, 98, and 104. I'm going to ask that you review those silently to yourself for a moment and then look up at me when you're done, please, sir. Officer Bell, do you recognize what I've handed you there?
Yes.
And what are those?
Those are electronic jump drives that contain things that I looked at this morning.
Okay. And when you say looked at this morning, looked at where this morning?
In prosecutor's office.
Okay. And how do you know that those are the same ones?
On the back, the green tabs, my initial SB and the date 7/21/2025 is listed on all three.
Okay. And based on your review of those exhibits, did those appear to be true and accurate copies of the events about which you've been testifying and the body camera footage you've also testified as to reviewing on your own system prior to coming to today?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to admit States Exhibits 97, 98, and 104.
Any objection, Mr. Kading?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Larry?
Nothing additional.
97, 98, and 104 shall be admitted.
May I retrieve those and publish, Honor?
You may.
Officer Bell, do you recall as it relates to States Exhibit 104, does that video occur during the course of your interaction prior to States Exhibits 97 and 98 or after? Do you recall?
No, I don't recall.
Okay. Officer Bell, I'm going to start with States Exhibit 104, and then I have some questions for you afterwards.
I'm with it. Hey, just wait right there. Just wait right there for right now. I know, and I'm asking you what you're in. Hold my hand. Like, That's fine, but right now, he's being detained for criminal investigation.
two women, are those the two women that you previously referenced as in blue, and then, the individual, the older female in the, I believe you said olive drab, head covering? Are those the two women you were talking about?
Yes,
Upon reviewing that, does that happen, earlier or later in your, arrival at that scene?
that is going to be right about arrival.
Okay. And, published in States Exhibit 97.
Ihsan, I'm a police officer with ACP. Okay, well, so here's what's going on. You need to figure out what happened up here, and I know it. I know, it's Ihsan, right? And so, she's in the office, she's safe. She's safe. Okay, guys, so here's what's going on. Something happened out here that could potentially be a crime. So with it potentially being a crime right now, okay. We're gonna get there. We're gonna get there.
They keep talking when I'm done. Change my mind, Mom. He's changing my mind, Mom. It's not changing.
Sorry. You look at it, sorry. Look at me, okay? We're gonna get to the bottom of this. So she told me that you have asthma, is that correct? So being worked up, Zahraa. You're being worked up. I'm trying to, but I wanna help you first. Zahraa. As of right now, he's being detained. It doesn't mean he's going anywhere. Doesn't, we're in the middle of investigating this. And right now, you cannot see him. But if you try to go interfere, you could get in trouble. Who does? Dad's telling you to go home. Okay, well then we'll work through that later.
And, previously, Officer Bell, you talked about there being an indication that, the older female, did you get a name for the older female?
Eventually it was Zahraa, or if I'm saying it correctly.
Okay, so when Zahraa was talking to you, previously you indicated that she had said something along the lines of he changed her mind. Is that the time frame that you were referencing?
It was.
Okay. I'm publishing States Exhibit 98.
This one, this screen is not working. Can you start?
I will start. Publishing States Exhibit 98. And so earlier you testified as well that she, Zahraa had pointed towards the school and referenced Isaiah as a student at the school. Is that the portion that you were referencing there as well?
Yes.
Okay. At any point, Officer Bell, did you actually go into the school or make contact with anyone inside the school?
Yes.
And who did you make contact with?
When I checked in with the school, I checked in with Sergeant Landworld and then Lacey Fire.
Was that after or before that interaction? If you remember.
I think it's going to be towards the end of all of my interactions.
Okay, so somewhere towards the end of that 52 minutes that you've referenced, that's when you believe you were in?
That's when I think so.
Okay. What did you do when you checked in with them? I mean, what was the purpose of that? What was the intent?
I was checking in to make sure that we still had a safe scene.
Okay. Did you observe Fatima or anyone by the name of Fatima Ali at any point during your interaction with the school itself?
When I was inside the school, who I believe to be Fatima was down a hallway, and I didn't see them at the time. It was eventually when they brought her out on the gurney and brought her out to the ambulance.
So when you initially saw Fatima, or when you recognized seeing Fatima, it was already on the gurney and going into the ambulance?
That's what I think. That's what I
Okay.
believe.
Did you see anyone else loaded onto a gurney and taken into an ambulance besides one individual?
I did not.
Okay.
Thanks for trying.
You may.
Officer Bell, I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 85 to 95.
Will you look at those silently to yourself for a moment, please, sir, and then look up at me when you're done. Officer Bell, do you recognize what I've handed you?
It appeared to be screenshots from my body-worn camera.
Okay. And based on your review of your body-worn camera, do those appear to be true and accurate screenshots from the body-worn camera for the incident about which you've been testifying today?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state would move to admit State's Exhibits 85 through 95.
Mr. Keating, any objection? Mr. Leary? 85 through 95 shall be admitted.
I'm going to request permission to retrieve and publish.
You may.
So Officer Bell, I'm showing you for State's Exhibit 85. I'd ask you to orient the jury, please, to what they're looking at here.
If you're looking at this particular, this is me being in the roadway of Mullen Road. I'm going to be in front of Timberline High School. More or less straight in front of me, you can see Officer Hang, the person that I described on the ground, and the other male. You can see the students on the right.
Okay, and is that the bus stop on the right-hand side of the photograph to which you've been referencing? The bus stop area here?
Yes.
Okay. And just so that we understand what we're looking at in terms of some of the markings on this exhibit, and I'm gonna ask you when, if you're describing something in the exhibit, to indicate where geographically on the picture we are. Upper right-hand quadrant, center of the photo, bottom left. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example, okay? So up here in the upper right-hand side of the photograph, there are some markings. What do those markings indicate?
So the big yellow triangle is Axon's logo.
Okay.
If you read it from the top line, left to right, 2024-10-18. Timestamp's going to be 14/20/23. So we're using military time, so the 14 representing the 2 o'clock, 20 being the minute, and then the second counter is going to be the last number. I am unaware or unfamiliar with the -0700 is, and then the bottom with the Axon Body 3. I'm assuming that's the style of camera and potentially the serial number, but I'm uncertain about that X number on that's to the right of Body 3.
Okay. And as you're looking at this, there is a runner across the bottom. Do you see that?
Yes.
And what does that runner indicate to you across the bottom?
So normally that runner is going to indicate where we're at within my time frame of the video. So it's been recording for 4 minutes and 43 seconds is the time that I see on the left. And on the outside right is 52:36.
Okay, and then your cameras come on and start recording, it's attached to the lights on your vehicle, is that correct?
In this particular scenario, yes.
Okay, and so will that then also include part of your drive to that location?
Oh, yeah, yes.
So you haven't, if I understand your testimony correctly, you haven't actually been on scene for 4 minutes and 43 seconds at this point? That is just when your camera started recording in relation to the lights on your vehicle, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. And State's Exhibit 86, and what are we looking at in State's Exhibit 86?
So
Who
now-
are these individuals?
So I've traversed and I'm almost out of the roadway of Mullen Road. The area that we're there is the front landscaping area of Timberline High School. Then you can see the male that's detained. You can see Officer Hang looking towards me. You can see the other male that I described earlier. And then there's a concrete sidewalk back there that's going to be away from Mullen Road. So that's what that is. And then the cars that you see are going to be the Timberline parking lot.
Okay, so just to reference, for the record, the group of individuals you were describing is essentially center of that photograph towards the bottom, is that correct?
Yes.
And the sidewalk that you were referencing runs almost directly across the middle from right to left or left to right of this photograph, is that correct?
Yes.
And then just slightly above that is pictured the Timberline High School parking lot. Is that fair? So that's just above center and heading towards the top half of that page. Is that correct?
Yes.
And are all of the same markings still indicated at the top as it relates to your body cam specifically? Meaning, are these going to be on the top right-hand corner of this photo, are these going to be on every still shot essentially from your body camera?
Yes.
Okay. State's Exhibit 87. What is depicted in State's Exhibit 87?
So at this point, I'm starting to turn my body to the right. You can see the male that I described that's kneeled over there to my left, on the left lower corner of the screen. I am now looking directionally, I'm looking east so that would be Mullen Road is the road right behind us. East, you can see the IT bus stop logoed sign there in that photo. And then we have a handful of students there.
Okay. And who is pictured, so you've identified the logo on the just center of the photograph, but to the right. Who is depicted on the very right-hand side of this photograph, if you know?
That's going to be Officer Chavez.
Okay. And the individual in blue and black in the very middle center of the photograph, just towards the bottom, is that the same female that we observed earlier?
Yes.
State's Exhibit 88. What is depicted in this photograph, sir?
So I believe I've moved just a few feet to the east. So I'm a little bit closer to the IT sign. You can see me right in front of the woman that's got the blue on, and then Officer Chavez is starting to do investigative work.
Okay. And are those the students that you were referring to earlier as observing upon your arrival?
Yes.
Okay. What time are we at in terms of elapsed time from your camera notated at the bottom with that runner?
We're at 5:35.
Okay. I'm showing you State's Exhibit 89. What are we looking at here at State's Exhibit 89?
So now I'm going to be to the left or to the slight west of the initial photo that you saw of the person that was down on the ground. And what I'm seeing now for the scene is there's a light colored pickup truck, I would say lower left, and there's a person walking towards me.
Is that the same individual that we just observed on State's Exhibit 104 in that very first body camera we watched you engage with?
It is.
Okay. And when there's a tree trunk about center of this photograph, do you agree?
Yes.
How would you describe the right-hand side of the photograph? What is depicted in that right-hand side of the photograph?
I would say more of the sidewalk that we've described, and then you also have the Timberline High School reader board, the electronic thing. That's going to be slightly to the right of the trunk, to the left of the person wearing red shorts and a dark colored top.
Okay. And going back quickly to the left-hand side with Zahraa depicted, what kind of vehicle? You described a light-colored vehicle. What kind of vehicle is that?
That appears to be a Dodge Ram, one of the heavy-duty rigs.
Okay. What time has elapsed in this photograph?
We're at 5:58.
State's Exhibit 90. What is depicted in State's Exhibit 90?
These are faculty and administration from Timberline. Specifically, I believe that's going to be Mr. Dean, the principal, that's a dead center or middle center. To my left, I believe that's another faculty member, Mr. Bush.
Okay. And when you say Mr. Dean in the green shirt with white sleeves, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What time has elapsed at this time?
We're at 9:17.
And I'm showing you State's Exhibit 91. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 91?
I'm now inside the office of Timberline High School. This is just inside the main door or the main entry door for the office. What we're seeing is some of our personnel from Lacey Fire. And then I don't know who the person wearing the blazer shirt is. I'm unfamiliar with them. And then I can't tell there's a firefighter on the left. I know him because they're wearing the jumper pants.
Sure.
But to the right, I don't know who that is.
Okay. And you said, do you recall if you went back and walked back towards the back side of the office area?
I did.
Okay. And when you initially indicated that you had observed or believed you had observed who you thought was Fatima, where, if you recall, in terms of this photograph, was that?
In the terms of this photograph, there's a door that is propped open that you can see behind the two people that are in the, I would say, to the left middle. There's a prop door open that leads to another area of the office, and that's where I believed I saw the gurney initially.
Okay, and what time are we at elapsed in terms of your body camera time at this point?
Elapsed right now is 46:33.
Thank you. Showing you State's Exhibit 92. What are we looking at in State's Exhibit 92, sir?
It's going to be one of our Lacey firefighters, and that's looking back at the door that I'd entered. So that's the door I was describing just a moment ago. Specifically, I had handed off what I believe to be property for Fatima. So if you look at the bears, to the bottom of that, you can see some blue, I think it was like a reusable shopping bag, I think was one of them. And I think the other one was a backpack, I think. So I brought those, and that's where I put those on that lower left underneath the bears on the bookcase.
Are you familiar with the interior of Timberline High School?
A little bit of it.
Okay. And this area here, what area is depicted on the right-hand side of the photograph? Where does that lead? Where does that go to?
So Timberline has an open concept. So with looking through the area that you're seeing, that is their main cafeteria, is what I think they're using it for. And then if you make a right, that'll take you back to the student classrooms. It's a 2-story building now, so they have classes. They have one and a 2-story. There's a stairwell, I think, right about there in that area, the cafeteria as well.
Okay, thank you. And State's Exhibit 93. What is that a photograph of, sir?
It's going to be the same office with no personnel.
Okay, and on the right-hand side, is there a window depicted?
Yes.
Okay, and what does that window lead to? Does it lead to the interior or the exterior of that building?
That I'm uncertain of.
Okay. And is this still the same doorway you were referring to on the left-hand side of the photograph that is propped open?
Yes.
What time has elapsed at this point?
Time on the lower left is 47:34.
Thank you. States Exhibit 94. What are we looking at in States Exhibit 94?
So I've now moved to the said described propped open door. As you look down, it kind of looks like a hallway, and you see some fire personnel. You can see, I'm going to describe the bookcase that's on the left. Just past that, you can see what you can make out what's going to be the foot of a gurney. Then you can see some other personnel.
And just to be clear, in terms of this photograph, you say the bookcase is on the left, it's on the left-hand side of the hallway in the photo, but actually the center of the photo in this case, is that correct?
That'd be correct.
Is this a single door entry, or are there two doors there for this entry into that back hallway?
I am not certain.
Okay, well, what is this pictured here on the right-hand side?
It looks like another push door.
Okay, so it looks like two push doors for this entrance?
It appears to be that way.
Okay. And States Exhibit 95, do you recognize any of these individuals?
Yes.
And who is anyone that you recognize in this photograph?
Specifically, the taller officer wearing a pink badge is going to be Sergeant Landwell. To the right of him, depicted with the blue gloves, it's going to be Officer Dawes. I'm assuming a Timberline faculty member that I'm unfamiliar with, and then we've got two of the Lacey firefighters to the right-hand side. So if you're looking left to right, first officer with the pink badge, Sergeant Landwell, blue gloves, Officer Dawes, I believe to be a faculty member, and then to the right, the two firefighters.
And is then Mr. Dean, who you previously identified, located all the way on the left-hand side of that photo?
It appears that way, yes.
And in this photo on the right-hand side, is that ambulance still present?
Yeah, you can, if you look to the right, you can see my gloved hand underneath what would be my palm. You can see something red. That's going to be one of the doors.
Okay, and your palm is that blue glove all the way on the top right-hand corner, is that correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and what time are we looking at this at on your body camera?
Elapsed
Time elapsed, yes, sir.
is 50 minutes, 3 seconds.
Okay, and the total video itself is 52:36, is that correct?
Yes.
Officer Bell, at any point during your interaction with Mrs. Ali, did she ever indicate to you or anyone else that you would have personally heard the fact that her husband had been choking her daughter?
No.
At any point during your interaction with Mrs. Ali that you would have, or with anyone else that you would have personally heard, did you hear Mrs. Ali indicate that her daughter had been unconscious at any point?
No.
Did Mrs. Ali ever ask you or anyone else that you would have personally heard specifically about the health and welfare of her daughter, Fatima?
No.
How long into your investigation on this scene did you, until you found out that there had been an injury to Fatima?
Towards the very end.
Did that come from anyone in her family?
No.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Thank you. Members of the jury, I know that you came into the courtroom well past 1:30, but we started at 1:30 this afternoon. So it is 3:05 and time for our afternoon recess. I'm going to ask the bailiff to come forward and take you back for a 15-minute recess, and then we will continue with this officer's testimony. Officer, you may step down during our break. We'll be in recess for 15 minutes. you.